Good afternoon, traders. Hopefully, everyone is having a good day today. We had the markets mixed today. We had the Dow and the S&P down, Nasdaq up today. Now, before we get into the show, I really do want to thank all my subscribers. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. Now, if you're not a subscriber and you happen to be watching the show, go ahead and do so. I really do think you're going to get a lot of valuable information from my technical analysis. All right, with anyone who knows, who watches the show, we go over the SPY every day. Then we go over the three stocks that I gave you from yesterday and see how they performed. And then I'll give you three stocks that are setting up technically really nicely going into tomorrow. All right, with that, let's go into the SPY. All right, guys, so as you can see on the board, the SPY made a 52-week high yesterday, and it made this spinning top, and it was a little disconcerting a little bit. We made this low. It did take out that low from the 14th that I said we needed to hold in order to keep this nice uptrend going. Now it looks like the overall market is slowly kind of losing a little bit of steam. It's starting to close a little bit down. It's closing below this 10 SMA right here. We're making lower lows. So again, guys, be very careful. Watch these levels. If we go back below the low of the 14th, which was 364.47 on the SPY, watch for this to drift a little lower. Okay, guys? Now, it doesn't mean every stock that is going to go down in the index. It just means you're going to have to be a little more careful on the stocks that you pick, and therefore I am giving out these really nice setups where we're going to know right away if we're going to win or lose in on these trades. Okay, guys. So watch these levels very carefully. If we start breaking down that 364, which is that low from the 14th, remember, and the reason is because we made that high, made that low, made a higher high, and then we made a lower low. So now it just, reason would just conclude that we would start drifting lower until we would find some support. And that initial support, in my opinion, would be right down here at that 50-day moving average. Okay, guys? All right, that is the SPY. All right, let's go quickly over the three stocks I gave you yesterday, see how they performed, and then we will give you those three stocks going for tomorrow. All right, first one was PEIX. So if you remember from yesterday's show, I said try to buy this on a pullback. I like the way PEIX had a really nice day on volume, closed above that 10-day SMA, closed above that midpoint Bollinger Band. We were very, very close to that value area high. So right here, guys, I did get in right around $6, that low 602, 603 area. Now, again, we need to defend yesterday's low right here. If we can get a bid on this name, we could get above this value area high. It looks to me like we're in this reversal mode. It's been so out of favor while the markets have been going up. So now maybe, possibly, if the markets start turning, we've based long enough where if we do get a little bit of a bid in this name, we can see a lot of appreciation. Okay, guys, that is PEIX. Be a buyer, again, above today's high. And then use that $5.70 mark right down here as your out. PEIX, I'm in since 602. All right, next stock that I had mentioned from yesterday, I did take a position, was NETE. If you remember from yesterday's show, really love that setup where that 10 is above the 50 and that 50 is above the 200. Anyone who watches the show knows that we need that setup of that 10, 50, and 200 in that order to have a nice bullish chart. I said try to buy in a pullback, and that's what I did. Bought around here at $12.35. I took a half position. Again, I will be a buyer on a breakout above today's high. I'll add to my shares, or I will just get out at a loss any close below that midpoint Bollinger Band, guys. Anything below $11.70. Okay, that is NETE. All right, last stock that I had mentioned on the list, wasn't able to get on this one. It did just gap and go. If you remembered from yesterday's show, I said I really like this. It started breaking above this trend line right here. Had that really decent candle where it did close above that 50 and 200-day moving averages respectively, and then today it did gap and just went. It kept going until about an hour till the close, and then it just sold off a little bit. Still closed near the highs of the day. Don't see why this would not continue tomorrow. I'm a little bummed out I didn't get in. I was hoping to get in on a pullback, but I don't think it's too late if you did not get in to get into this name. But you have to. It's imperative that you use that low from yesterday all the way down here at 12.77 as you're out. Okay, guys. So if you can risk that $1.50, be my guest. Please be a buyer of this. I really do think this is going a lot higher now. Okay. That is CVM. All right, with those in the books, let's go quickly over the three stocks that look really good going into tomorrow, and then I'll let you go for the night. All right, first one we've played in the past, TLRY. Here we go. If we can zoom in on the chart. As you know, we had that really big day on the 16th of December on that merger news, and since then we've just drifted lower. Now what, guys? Well, we're at this inflection point, right? We're here at that 10 SMA and that midpoint Bollinger Band. In my opinion, we have to hold today's low. If we don't hold today's low, guys, well, there's a high probability we're going to go all the way back down to this 50-day moving average, and that's all the way down to that 757.48 mark right down here, okay? So, but then again, I really do think this is a natural place to see buyers stepping in. We've, clearly, have gapped up. We've drifted lower. Now, if you were patient, I think this is a really good spot for people to just, traders to come in and buy this name. That is TLRY. Be a buyer. Be pretty aggressive with this one. Your risk reward is only about 25 cents. If you buy in, let's say at the open at 846, make sure any close below 820 would be your out. Okay, that is TLRY. I want to bring this up on a couple of other charts to show you. Now here we go. Here's that 513 EMA chart. The 5 is still above that 13 EMA right there, so that's looking good. And then lastly, on the weekly chart, here we go. That weekly chart, take a look, guys. Price is still above that 9 SMA right here, okay? So everything is still looking good. We're still in this little uptrend. I would be a buyer tomorrow at the open and then use that today's low as my out, okay? TLRY. Next stock that looks really good going into tomorrow, one that I actually own shares in, had a really good day today. See, this is what I'm talking about, even though the markets were down, the setup was right, had a big day. PLL. Here we go, guys. Take a look. PLL. Today that 10 did cross above that 50, so we're just beginning to have that really nice setup that we like, where that 10 is above the 50 and the 50 is above the 200. Again, there's going to be a little bit of resistance right here at that $32 mark. We touched it and then sold off, got up to 31.86. I really do think tomorrow we're going to bust above that $32 mark. Unless obviously markets completely fall apart, we should, since we closed not too far from the highs of the day, take out that $30 mark, and then we should continue to go higher. We're right here above this Bollinger Band. I love that. We're above this point of control, which is where the majority of shares had been traded. Always like to see price being above that. And then finally, let's show you a couple of other charts. That 9 SMA on the weekly, again, price is way above that 9 SMA down here. And then lastly, that 513 EMA chart, guys, take a look. That 5 EMA is above that 13. We just started, making that breakout move today. So I do think we will see a continuation of this. So how to play this, guys? Well, look, it had a big day today. I'd be a buyer on any pullback. If we start breaking above 32, I'd be a buyer and then use. I know it's a big range, so you have to, scale into this. You have to use this 13 EMA right here, down here at 27 bucks, or today's low basically as your out, okay? So trail that stop going forward up. So that's PLL, be a buyer above 32, and then anything below 27 would be a sell in this one, okay? Lastly, this is one that we haven't played in the past. It's been on my chart for a while. It's kind of a COVID play. So it's RVP, really nice little micro cap stock with maybe a $400 million market cap. Has still a lot of room to run. Had great earnings. Has a really nice chart where that 10 again is above that 50-day moving average, and that 50 is above that 200-day moving average. The price is above this value area high, so it's making new value up here. I have my alert set where any move above 1244, I will be a buyer and I'll go in strong. But then again, if we see a little bit of selling pressure tomorrow, I will wait. I'll sit on my hands. If it takes out today's low tomorrow, I'll see if we can defend yesterday's low right down here at 1066. I'll step in, start buying in that area. Okay, small position, and then finally this 50-day moving average right here has to hold. So again, ever since this big move that we've had, this 50-day moving average has been our friend. It's held nicely. I still think this has a lot more room to run. So again, I would assume that this 50-day moving average will come into play, or at least be a lot of support for the stock price. Okay, so again, that's the play. Be a buyer above 1244, and then you're going to have to use this 9 SMA down here as your stop loss. Okay, even though it's a big gap, don't go all in. This is going to be a momentum play, so be very careful on the way your trade size. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's the show for tonight. Thank you again for joining me on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Hopefully, everyone had a great day. Again, my name is Eric, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below in the comments section. I will be sure to get right back to you with any questions you may have. And again, if you're not a subscriber, please go ahead and do so. I really do think you're going to get a lot of valuable information from my technical analysis. I give you, the setups. I go over the SPY. I give you why we're getting into a stock, technically how it breaks down, the stop price. So, and hopefully you can learn something from my analysis, and one day, hopefully, you can do this on your own. All right, guys, thanks again. Have a great night. Remember, guys, subscribe, trade smart, and be safe.